Hey, yo, what's going on, boys? So, we got something different today. Not our usual gaming content or Madden 25 content. We're going to predict this Super Bowl or predict the NFL playoffs. And I will be 100% right because I know ball. And let's get into it, man. Let's start out. Wild card Patriots versus the Chargers. This is going to be a close game. A lot of these are going to be close games, except for maybe this Rams game and maybe this Texans game. I think the rest of them are going to be really tight. This is probably one of the most unpredictable playoffs in recent memory. Now, there's one key thing that I want to know about this game right here, and that is the Chargers O line. And I'll mention two things: the Chargers O line, and then the health of Justin Herbert. Obviously, we know he got a rest last week because he clinched the playoffs, but the week before that, it seemed like he was in lots of pain, and I don't know how that'll affect him in this wild card game. I guess time will tell, but just based off the fact that O line is so terrible, this Patriots defense has been playing really good. I'm gonna have to go with the Patriots. I hate to say it because I don't really like the Patriots. I think Stafford's showing the MVP. But this Chargers O line is just too questionable to choose, man. It's too questionable to pick up. And let's move over here to the 6 versus 3 seed, the Bills versus Jaguars. Now we know that Josh Allen has always fallen short in the playoffs. However, this year there's no Lamar Jackson, there is no Patrick Mahomes. He's going up against the Jaguars. He's going up against Trevor Lawrence, who has been red hot as of late. I think these two teams, these two AFC South teams, have been the most hot teams we have seen in a while. These two teams have been red hot. They've been killing it all year, or since the beginning of the year. They've been killing it. I think the Texans are on like a 10, 11 game win streak. But let's focus here. I think two things will matter. I mean, how Josh Allen plays and how Trevor Lawrence plays. And I know that sounds kind of weird because obviously if one quarterback outperforms the other, they're going to win. I don't know how much the ground game will affect this one. I think it'll end up being a matchup where whoever performs the best out of these two QBs wins the game. And if I had to vote on who is going to play better out of these two teams, I'm picking Josh Allen any day of the week. I think it's pretty simple. I mean, I just like the idea of Josh Allen outperforming Trevor Lawrence in a big game, and I know Trevor Lawrence's only wild card appearance, or maybe not his only wild card, but his most memorable against the Chargers, where he came back in that big game, the Waffle House, that game. If y'all remember that, if you know, you know. But I just think that Josh Allen's a better quarterback, and without Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson in his way, I don't think Trevor Lawrence has a chance of eliminating Josh Allen in the playoffs. All right, and then we move down here. Out of all these games, I feel like this one's gonna be the easiest one to predict. You got a 37-year-old Aaron Rodgers playing against the best defense in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. This is the best defense in the NFL, the National Football League. So I'm going to bet with them. I'm going to bet against the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, who on paper is really good, right? You got the all pros, the Pro Bowlers, and Jalen Ramsey, TJ Watt, Kim Hayward, even off the edge, Alex Highsmith, like guys like that. But I just don't know how their offense is going to stack up against the Texan defense, especially with their lack of receivers outside of DK Metcalf, obviously coming out of that suspension that he served. I think that's going to be a really tight game. Actually, it's not going to be a tight game. I don't know what I'm talking about. This game is easily going to go to the Texans. And as you can see, the Texans shift down to play the Patriots, and the Bills face the Broncos. Okay, let's go to the NFC side in my Green Bay Packers playing the Chicago Bears. Obviously, we know what happened last time These two teams faced off. It came down to that onside kick. We know what happened the game before that when it came down to the interception as of late. So these two games, yeah, this game and that game. No, these two games. Sorry, this game was earlier in the year. So we know what happened in this game, right? It came down to the final play. Caleb Williams throws an interception to Keyshawn Nixon, who seals it off. Josh Jacobs averaging 4.3 a carry. Jordan Love 3 touchdowns, 2 going to Christian Watson. That one catch going to Bo Melton at the end of the half. And over here, right, you got the dual backfield of Swift and Monangai, who had their good respective games equally. And then you got over here receiving where Luther Burden took most of the workload. However, I just don't know how much Rome Odunze is going to impact this game. Obviously, Rome Odunze pushing to come back and is probable to come back. I think he's going to come back in this game. And then you obviously have the two tight ends who really killed us, right? Cole Kmet, kind of their deep guy. Colson Loveland, their run after catch guy. And then obviously we know the catch that Zacchaeus made in the corner of the end zone. We know that was a great catch. And then their defense is the best in the league as far as creating turnovers and creating takeaways. We know what that is. And we go to this game where Malik Willis outperformed Caleb Williams. He did 9 for 11, 121, a touchdown. Caleb Williams, 19 for 34 for 2. And then over here, these two backs again, collectively reaching and surpassing 100 yards. And then over here, DJ Moore, who was quiet in our first matchup. He might not have even played, so forget I said that. Coming out here and scoring the dagger on us on that 46-yard touchdown. And then you have guys like Kyle Monangai, who stepped up in the catching game. You have Zacchaeus, who had a couple of drops, but those two catches went for about 16 and a half respectively. And then Colson Loveland, who had 3 catches on 5 targets. And then Ja'Day Walker, who on 4th down made the great catch to send it to overtime. To basically send it to overtime where they eventually won the game with the DJ Moore touchdown. I just think, I want to look at the injury report for the wild card. Injury reports, Bears versus Packers. My fault, I cannot type right now. So, wild card. Yeah, right here. Will Smith. Okay, yeah, so Bears hoping Kyler Gordon, their DB2 is going to be back while we lose Dontavian Wicks, Javon Bullard. We lose Nate Hobbs, who's going to be out for the rest of the year, most likely, unless we make a Super Bowl push. Possible return, Zach Tom. Questionable, Javon Bullard, Dontavian Wicks, Malik Willis, who is questionable but shouldn't be playing anyways, with Jordan Love coming back. And then obviously CJ Gardner-Johnson, who is going to be out in this game. Got Nate Hobbs, who is out, but then you also replace Nate Hobbs with the guy who is better in Trayvon Diggs, who played really good against the Vikings. So we'll see how much that affects that. And with that being said, I think without Micah Parsons, I think the Chicago Bears, as much as I want us to win, I just think that they're a better team than us without Micah Parsons. And that's not saying we're bad. Obviously, if we lose our best player, we're not as good. And it goes both ways. They lost their best player. They're not better than us. Just think it's going to come down to that little factor, and as well as them getting a lot of guys back. In our injury history, as far as the when it comes to the last 4 games in which we lost. Now we go San Fran versus Eagles. This is probably the toughest to predict, because at the end of the day, the Eagles are the 3 seed without Saquon being Saquon. So if Saquon activates, if Saquon is really good, who knows? Maybe this Niners defense is really, really good against the Eagles offense, but maybe this Eagle offense, if they activate the run game, is just unstoppable. And then it goes both ways. The Eagles defense, which is really, really good, playing this 49ers offense, who besides the Seattle game is on a tear offensively. We could look back at their last couple of games. Obviously, when they scored 3, not great. But then 42, 48, 37, 26. I mean, it's just not easy to stop Brock Purdy and them, right? And if they get rolling, they definitely get rolling. That's a big thing for them, and that's gonna come down to how this Eagles defense plays. Obviously, they have a great cornerback duo within Quinyon Mitchell and one of the half the exciting whites in Cooper DeJean. Their safety core pretty good, led by the other half of the exciting whites, Reed Blankenship. I just don't know if they're good enough to stop the Niners offense. And with the Niners playing to potentially be in this Super Bowl, playing to potentially play in front of their home crowd is going to be very fun, man. It is. Let's go to this game. I don't, like the Texans game, like the Steelers game. I don't think this one's going to be close. We know what happened the last time these two teams faced off. Yeah, the last time these two faced off, the Panthers got the better of them. But we'll see what happens here. I mean, they scored 28 points with Stafford throwing 2 interceptions. That's on Matthew Stafford like. And then same thing for Bryce Young. 15 for 20, 206, 3 touchdowns. Everything needs to go perfect for the Panthers to win this game. And it's the playoffs. It's Matthew Stafford. He's not going to throw 2 interceptions again. They're going to win this game. And Blake Corum and Kyron Williams both having a touchdown. The big thing is Devontae Adams going to be back. So we'll see what he can do in the playoffs and see how he impacts this game on limited snaps. I'm assuming with the Achilles injury, probably resting for when they play the Chicago Bears or let's say Niners or Eagles if the Packers win, right? So that's my wild card prediction on the NFC side. You got the Bears, the Niners, and the Eagles. Sorry, and the Rams. I don't know why I said Eagles. I'm tripping. Then we go to the divisional here, and this game, I actually want to save this game to after this one. I think Bills Broncos is going to be really close. And we go to this game, Drake May versus CJ Stroud. Drake May in this offense versus this Texans defense. I think the main factor here is again this Texans defense because they are really, really, really good. The best defense in the NFL. Argue with a wall. I don't care. Man. So because of that, you gotta go with the MVP Drake May. Anyways, I just think Drake May is super good. He's gonna lead them to a victory. Psych. We're going with the Texans actually. I think the Texans defense, I kind of taught myself out of that one. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, the two best edge rushing duo in the league. Will Anderson getting better day by day, and same thing with Danielle Hunter. And when it comes to their offense, right, you got Nico Collins, you got some of the receivers like the rookie, what's bro's name from Iowa State? Jaden Higgins is really good. They got another kid from Ohio State, but I forgot bro's name. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But their offense is just really good. Their offensive line is questionable, but with all the things that this team is facing when it comes to outside of football, especially with their defensive linemen and Christian Barmore and Stephon Diggs, I just don't know if you can do that at the same time as preparing for a divisional game like this one. I think it's just going to come down to how Drake May faces this Texans defense. And in my opinion, I think the Texans defense is going to get the better out of that matchup. I do. Let's go to this one. Same sort of situation. Really good quarterback, really good defense. You got the third best quarterback in the NFL. You got the second best defense in the NFL. It's going to come back to that. I don't know if I love the Broncos offense, but I just know I hate this Bills defense, especially against a run. Obviously, we know this Broncos defense isn't known for their running game with RJ Harvey, but if there was any game I expect them to pop off, it's against the Buffalo Bills, especially in Denver. The question here comes back to how would Josh Allen face against this Broncos defense? And I think that question is answered just based off the fact that he won MVP last year. We know what he does in these big moments, especially when he's not playing Mahomes or Lamar. So give me the Bills to take care of business. I just think they're too good right there, right? The Bills, Josh Allen, really good. I think that's who I will predict to win that game. And here we got the divisional. We got the Niners. The whatever this team is, man. The Seahawks. My fault, forgot that one. And you got the LA Rams. You got the Chicago Bears. I don't know if they played this season. They might have. No, this was from 2024. So yeah, this was last year. Yup, because they got Roschon Johnson. Yup, they got Keenan Allen. Yup, so this was from last year. I'm not tripping. I'm not mistaken. But assuming the Bears are healthy, assuming the Rams get Devontae Adams fully healthy, it's going to be a close game. I do believe that. I just don't know if I trust Caleb Williams yet in the playoffs. I'm going to take the guy who's been there, done that, in Matthew Stafford, a guy who's been to the playoffs many times before and has a Super Bowl under his belt. I'm going to take the guy with experience here. And then overall, this entire Rams team has experience, right, with their second-year guys like Jared Verse, or their guys from a couple years ago like Puka have their experience from the last couple of years. And then Devontae Adams, who, besides his years with the Raiders and the Jets, has really been the definition of been here, done that. He's just a great playoff performer, especially when he played for my Green Bay Packers. Just loved seeing him kill out there. So give me the Los Angeles Rams. And then we come over here to the divisional. Up here, the 1 seed is a 6 seed. I know last time we saw the Seahawks play, they looked better than the 49ers. I just don't know how much we can trust Sam Darnold in the playoffs just yet. Obviously, we know that this is going to be a closer game than people think. I think, obviously, in Seattle, there's going to be a lot of Niners fans there. Not too far away from San Fran. So I'm going to give it... It's going to come down to one big thing, and that's their health when it comes to San Francisco. I think if Fred Warner can potentially make a playoff push, he's questionable going into the conference championship. Doubtful for the divisional. But I just don't know if I trust this Seattle quarterback named Sam Darnold to win a big playoff game. But if there's any year, there's this year, because he has been on a tear. He's been playing like a top 5 quarterback this year. Probably the best signing of free agency. But I'm going to give it to the Niners. I think they are going to push and push and push to have a Super Bowl in San Francisco. B for them. And that's what it's going to come down to for me, man. That's what it is, man. And then we go over here. Bills versus Texans. We know what happened last time they played. This was a Thursday night football game, if I'm not mistaken. It was a game where Josh Allen threw 2 interceptions. Davis Mills threw for 2 touchdowns. And this was a really good game, right? It came down to that 4th and 20. They converted I'm talking about the Bills, right? They got the first down, and then 4th and 27 here. Actually, I don't want to play it because I'm gonna get copyrighted. Yeah, it don't matter if I have 2 subscribers. I'm gonna get copyrighted by the NFL. But 4th and 27, and they convert it on the hook and ladder. And then I just want to look here. Okay, so the question here again, it's like all these Bills games, how Josh Allen plays, right? When Josh Allen has a game where he throws for 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, I think they win 90% of those games. I could be mistaken. It could be 100. I don't know. But every time Josh Allen plays good, they win. Every time he plays bad, they lose. That's what it comes down to. Again, against the best defense in the NFL, the best cornerback room in the NFL, and Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, if you want to consider Kalen Bullock a nickel corner, or maybe just a box safety, whatever you want to call him. It's going to come down to how Josh Allen plays, and without Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson in his way, I do believe that the Buffalo Bills are going to win that game. All right, and we go over here, Niners versus Rams. Niners versus Rams over here. Obviously, they had 2 games. One was pretty favored for the Rams, and then one was in overtime. Looking at both these games, it seems like Brock Purdy hasn't played them just yet. Yeah, so this one, Mac Jones once again, and then this one was also without. I guess Christian McCaffrey did play, just kind of struggled. I think the big thing here is going to be if Fred Warner makes a push to play in the conference championship, I think the Niners win that one. If he doesn't, I think the Rams take care of it. I just think that Matthew Stafford is more consistent. I know when he throws interceptions, they come in bunches. He doesn't ever throw 1 interception. Maybe it's like 2 or 3. I'm going to put my bread in the basket of the LA Rams, and it's going to be a Rams versus Bills Super Bowl. And I'm just going to leave it right here, all right? This doesn't mean that the Rams are winning. It's going to come down to this one, and I think there's a clear difference here, and that is the firepower on offense. I think the Bills are being carried by Josh Allen. Their receiver core, terrible. Their tight end, Don Kincaid, is solid. But when you look at the Rams, you're like, okay, I got Connor Williams. No disrespect to James Cook, but actually, no disrespect to James Cook. The man's a leading rusher in the NFL, right? But the Rams' defensive line is really good, led by Jared Verse. Guys like Byron Young, Braden Fisk. Their defensive line is one of the best in the league, in my eyes. So I don't know how much James Cook could get going in. To be honest, I think that's what it's going to come down to again. I know I've been saying that for every Bills game. Josh Allen. I think this Super Bowl is going to come down to James Cook. I do. I think this secondary for the Rams, who has been playing pretty good this year, with the guys in the secondary like Emmanuel Forbes, Cam Kitchens, Quentin Lake, Cam Curl, just guys like that who are pretty solid. But Josh Allen just has that ability to take over the game. And if James Cook could get going on the ground, I think they're a hard team to stop. A team that is a force to be reckoned with. And then you look on LA's side, right? They have all the pieces on offense. They have a solid O-line, above average O-line at that. They have the two of the best receivers in the NFL. You could make a case that Puka Nacua is the best receiver in the NFL right now. And then obviously you got the guy like Devontae Adams who cleans up all the dirty work, gets all the 1 yard, 2 yard, 3 yard goal line fade touchdowns, right? It's just so hard to stop. And I don't know if any Bills cornerback can stop that goal line fade. And if they start to stop the goal line fade, can you also stop Kyren Williams on the ground being a power back? I think that's what it comes down to. for the Rams, that's what it comes down to. The Bills, it's going to be James Cook. But if there's any year for the Bills to win it, it is this year. So I got the Bills as the NFL champions. I just see no juggernauts in the way. I think their toughest game is going to be the Texans game. I think they're going to have a tougher time against the Texans than the LA Rams. I do believe that. As good as Matthew Stafford is, I just don't know if I could see a world where he plays turnover-free football the entire way. I think at some point he is going to make mistakes. Health is going to get the better of these two teams, right? So whether that's a couple injuries, maybe Devontae Adams, God forbid, aggravates that Achilles injury. Maybe he goes down in the divisional or conference championship and he's out for the Super Bowl. That's a big factor. But other than that, man, I think the Bills are just too good. I think if they could get their guys in rhythm, I think it's going to be really good. And then having that guy like James Cook who could do it for you on the ground really complements Josh Allen as a passer. I think that's what it's going to come down to. And James Cook is just super good, right? Leading rusher past JT late this year. I think it might have been like week 17, week 18. I don't know. But that's my official Super Bowl or playoff predictions. I'll make a reaction to this. Maybe when the playoffs are over, I'll react to this one. And I mean, that's it, man. I'm going to be right. I'm going to be right. This will be the Super Bowl. And when Josh Allen beats Matthew Stafford and raise that Lombardi, I'm going to react to this and be like, I told you so. See y'all.